One. We're back, baby.
That is the beginning of the end.
That signal means green means go. Let's fucking do it, damn.
Hello, Connor.
We're back another week.
How are you today?
I'm tired, but I'm ready to go.
Oh, yeah?
We've been very busy creating content and also earning money through other jobs.
Oh boy, we've both been
But
very
still.
busy people.
Yeah.
But we make time for this.
Yeah, exactly.
'Cause we're
feel,
buddies.
Feel loved and... No, seriously, that's like... I literally said yesterday, like, YouTube is really a second job that I don't get paid for.
Oh yeah.
It's true, though. I would argue with anyone who says that this isn't, like, a job.
It's like people who do like night school, you know?
What, the film?
Literally. It's like, we're like Kevin Hart.
Yeah, except hopefully our podcast alone is better than that piece of absolute trash.
And yeah, we don't cheat on our wives, so. You know, he cheated on
I
his
thought that was
wife.
Chris Rock.
Yeah, both of them did.
It just gets too
So
bloody
Kevin
hard, doesn't it?
Hart cheated on his wife, and then his mate, like his best mate,
Oh, no.
recorded him cheating with some random chick.
What, was he
And
like,
then Kevin,
for a laugh?
he was in the corner, like,
like
you know,
hunting?
hand around his cock, like, all right. No. He
Oh, for, like,
secretly
evidence.
recorded
Oh,
him
okay.
to expose him. No, to blackmail him.
Okay. Oh, God.
To be like, give me, you know,
Just like friends do.
give me some of that Kevin Hart money, otherwise your sex tape that you're having an affair with your wife will get leaked to the public. Anyway, so Kevin Hart sued him. The video never got released, but obviously, you
Like,
know,
how dare you?
when you sue someone for that, it's like,
How dare you
people-
film me cheating on my
yeah,
wife?
yeah. So people like will find out, but literally the quote or something that he said in court was like, "How dare you, you know, disrespect my trust?
My
You
wife?
went behind my back," and it's like, wait a minute,
My wife
isn't that what cheating is?
was so upset with you filming me having sex with another woman.
Yeah.
When was that?
That was like last year, I think. Yeah.
And he still went on tour. He's always on tour. He's always bloody Snapchat.
Oh, he's a
that
crazy
shit.
man. Well, look, as much as you know, I don't. He's not particularly my cup of tea comedy wise. I respect him. He makes the money.
I don't get why people find him funny. I'm sorry.
No, I'm
Like,
not.
doesn't
I'm
he,
not
he always have
particularly a
that
fan.
like high pitch, like fucking
Always overdoing it,
overdoing
trying a
it.
bit
He's like,
hard. Yeah.
Oh my god! You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, is that funny? Like, apparently he was good in Jumanji, but
He was pretty good.
which I
Yeah.
hadn't seen for obvious reasons, in my opinion. I just didn't really want to see it. Yeah, that's the thing. I heard he was alright. I heard he just played Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
It's like the
pretty
Seth
much.
Rogen and like the
Yeah.
Kevin Harts of the world. Like,
No, they don't.
you probably go see those movies to see Seth Rogen and Kevin Hart, not
No,
a
exactly.
well-adjusted character.
Nope. That's not where you go.
You pay to see a man with heart, also known as Kevin Hart.
Anyway,
Okay,
after that
good to be here, though.
extended
Yeah, that was
intro,
good. That wasn't
that was
planned.
a nice little riff about Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today? Who's going first? Is it you or me? I forget.
Yeah, I think I'll tell you something first, because
Okay.
this is like last week I told the story about me in the club making an ass of
Oh,
myself
yeah.
in front of a woman.
Uh-huh.
So this is like the chronicles of Conor making an ass himself.
Oh,
in front of a woman.
okay.
So I got another story to tell you, which happened on Saturday.
All right.
Oh god.
The saga continues.
Yeah, the saga continues.
Okay.
Quick little story of the chronicles of Conor making an ass of himself in front of women. So pretty much, I went out for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
I go to lunch with the same people like every Saturday. It's like a tradition we started.
Okay, nice.
It's like a boy and a girl and me. So went for lunch, and my friend who's a girl, like she doesn't call people. She always FaceTimes them. Don't know why, but she thinks it's a good idea. So she
fair
always
enough.
she always FaceTimes them, and just
The
FaceTime
video?
Yeah, like FaceTime video, like, you know.
Wow.
Always FaceTimes them.
That's a commitment.
And then her friend FaceTimed her quickly, and she was going through a bit of a hard time, so she picked up at the table, and they were having a good FaceTime. Anyway, I said to my mate, I was like, for a good laugh, like, should I FaceTime my friend? And I won't say her name, because she has the same name of a girl who I was with back in March, whose number I had. So pretty much, I had the same numbers on my phone, but I don't have my friend on my phone because, you know, we always like text and stuff, and but I had this girl from March on my phone still, and they have the same name, and it didn't click.
Do you
with
mean
me.
you talk on Facebook with this?
Yeah, we talk on Facebook.
Okay, so that's why you don't have a number in your
yeah,
phone.
like
Okay, right.
I did, but like she changed phones recently, and like,
Okay.
do you know what I mean? So I deleted her old number, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
completely spaced that. And I was in the moment of trying to be a funny cunt, and I was like, you know what, mate? Let's call her while she's still at the table. Let's FaceTime her.
Oh no.
And I start. What's so weird about it is I haven't spoken to this girl in what 7 months.
Wow.
And I start FaceTiming her, and I noticed that the way that name was spelled was different to my friends, and that's when it fucking hit me about 10 seconds in
and then
for the FaceTime. Luckily, thank the maker,
yeah.
this woman did not pick up, but she got a missed call from me. Not only just a missed call, a missed FaceTime video call from the old big dog here. So quickly hung up, absolutely shat myself at the table, and then I blocked her number. But answer me this. This is what worries me.
Okay.
Now
we're getting to the.
If I blocked her though, does it still come up that I FaceTimed her? Like, would it be like
you blocked her after you FaceTimed her?
Yes.
Oh yeah, she'll know.
She'll know.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Unless she was so mad at you before that she blocked you already.
I'm hoping she deleted my number.
Okay, maybe
hoping.
she didn't know it was you. But then you run the risk. What if she FaceTimes you back and she's like,
well, she's blocked now.
Okay,
I blocked her completely afterwards. I was like,
you were like,
shit.
It's for the best for all parties. Let's just.
I should have blocked you 7 months ago.
Here, yeah.
But you know what? Only I could be capable of that kind of thing, and I was so worried because I was like, shit. You know, I still don't know to this day, this moment right now.
Yeah.
That if she's seen if she got like the notification of me calling her up
on FaceTime,
on FaceTime of all things, just for a little chat, a quick little chat.
Yeah.
You know, things didn't necessarily end badly between us, but it's a very long story with me and that girl on that night. And, you know, it was best if we didn't really talk the morning after. Let's just say that.
Oh, my goodness.
I won't go into details.
Oh, boy.
But what an absolute twat am I for doing that. I sometimes I just do things and I'm like...
That's really funny.
I have to check if I have a bloody brain half the time.
You know what ends up happening to me a lot of the time? Is that...
It's like, is that her?
Ironically, I'm getting a phone call from a lady.
Is it a FaceTime?
I will message her now. But what happens to me... Well, it hasn't happened to me yet. And now that I'm talking about it, it probably will happen to me. But my boss, the person who I work for, has the same name, has a very common name. And I also know someone who I'm involved in like video making with. I do like... there are a couple different ladies of this same name that I have on my phone that I text fairly frequently. So I'm worried. It's not a big deal if I send like a video that I've done to my boss, but it's just kind of like, then you have to have that conversation of like, oh no, sorry, you're the wrong one. And then also, not that I would ever really mix this up, but my boss has the same name as my stepmom who lives in Sydney. So basically if I tell Siri to phone this person, there are many different ways it could go down.
I'm sure you'd love to have a unscheduled call with your stepmom.
My goodness, it would be what now that she's divorced from my dad. That's what's so
like the AIDS, do you?
Not that I don't want to get into this particularly, but that's what's so funny when you have family that are like used to be family, but now they're like you never really had a falling out, but they're so detached from your family that it's like there's no real reason for you to ever talk to them again. It's quite funny, isn't it?
It's
like when your sibling or like when a cousin breaks up with their longtime girlfriend that you were super friendly with at all the family parties, and then you're like, okay, never gonna talk to that person again.
It's I don't know. The I guess the lesson here, kids, is like don't on a night out add that lady onto your phone, because you know if you want to add them on Facebook, it's a lot easier to tell who you're calling when you do that.
Oh boy, it is.
I just don't know what I would do if she picked up. Again, things didn't lead necessarily fantastic on fantastic terms, not bad terms, but not fantastic terms. So like, you know, but like, look, this will not be the last of the chronicles of me fucking up in front of women because you know.
Yeah, we're not even like
You haven't even scratched the surface yet.
We're not even in the intermission of this long story.
God. Every single time something fucks up with women,
we haven't even got through
I'm
the
excited
first.
to tell you.
Yeah, we haven't even got through the first act of like the saga that is Connor's bloody misdemeanors with women.
I'm sure she would have been fine, but it wasn't her I was necessarily scared of. But either way,
it's just the awkward situation.
Well, yeah.
Because talking to any kind of ex in any situation is always weird, even if you're on good terms. Like I know that. Sorry, I'll turn my phone vibration off. I know that I'm not particularly on bad terms with my ex, who you are ironically fairly okay friends with.
Yeah. Well, you don't.
Yeah. Well. That's another.
That's another story.
Inclusion in the Conor Women Chronicles, but like I know if I ever see her at a gathering, there's no particular beef or anything, and there's no reason that neither of us would want to whatever, but it's just kind of that little bit weird of like,
yeah. Well, it's like I think
what
once
do you
you
say?
started to do at least something like in like a relationship or like a sexual kind of thing, I don't think things will ever be the same with you and that person.
One thing that's always quite hard, and it's actually so funny because our buddy brought something similar up last week, but it's always hard when something happens between two people where one person was hurt but it's been long enough that you've both moved on, but you haven't necessarily been forgiven.
I'm trying to think who you're talking about. But...
Well, I'll explain what I mean a bit more. So like, and not that I want to go into my ex either. This is getting like a very personal podcast.
This is very personal,
week,
yeah.
But
don't dox us.
I probably hurt my ex a bit when I broke up with her.
A bit?
Probably.
Sir, how dare you?
Yeah, no, I probably did. But anyway, so...
Probably.
Yeah.
I'll probably break it
I
off.
did. I'll just stake away the probably. I'll just say I was a bit of a dick with how I handled the whole ordeal. But what's funny is that it's been long enough for both of us. Well, I mean, I was over it pretty quick. Like, I don't, because, when you're the dick, it's easier to get over. I'm not saying that I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but obviously it affected her probably more than me. I can't speak for her emotions because I don't know what she went through at the time, but I would imagine it was harder for her to deal with.
Yeah,
because,
you're not wrong.
Let me put it this way: it was more of a surprise to her, whereas I actually had time to think about it.
It's always a surprise for the bloke. Sorry, a surprise for the
girl.
And the bloke's like, I just felt it coming.
Yeah. So anyway, it's been long. It's definitely been long enough for both of us to have been
100%.
Okay, we moved on, we've grown up, we've both dated other people since then. It's like, okay, I wouldn't think that either of us have particular, feelings about it, but I doubt that she's ever really forgiven me, and not that she should have. So it's kind of weird where it's like, I don't think she's angry at me, but she hasn't forgiven me either. So it's a weird kind of like, we're not on bad terms, but not on good ones either. It's a very strange way to interact with someone, and I imagine it's with a lot of the women you've had experiences with, it's the same kind of thing where it's like I'm sure you haven't really scarred anyone horribly where they still hate you, but at the same time I'm sure there are some women who
there are
really...
a few women out there who don't particularly like me.
Yeah, but I'm sure some of them also don't particularly hate you. It's just like and that's what awkwardness is. That's
sometimes you just gotta like, I think what people find so hard these days to come to terms with, and it sucks, but like, you just gotta admit sometimes that just someone doesn't like you, which is a hard thing to admit, but, if things aren't gonna work out, as hard as it is to say, you've really just gotta be like, cool, let's move on.
It's not even like exclusive to women. Like I had a friend earlier this year who we had a falling out with, ironically, over a woman. It was a sister. No, it wasn't really. It wasn't really a
woman.
woman.
When you don't use names, it's hard. I'm like, I'm doing that.
So
the maths teacher gif
over. I don't want to go too specifically, but like over an incident, I guess that happened with his sister, we had a falling out. Yeah, and
sorry, I shouldn't have had to.
I would think that it had been long enough now that, as I've said, like, I don't think if we were in a room together, either of us would be particularly pissed at each other.
No, I wouldn't say so either.
But it's like, we're not friends, No. And that's what's funny about when you drift with people.
as long as you can just be like, you don't necessarily have to like each other or like you
No,
know
I think that's
be
maturity.
cool with each
though.
other, but yeah,
That's-
at least have the decency to just be like,
just move on and
how you
just be
doing,
like,
man?
you know
Yeah,
what?
like move on, say like how you doing, and then just like literally
Yeah, and just be like, you know what? It doesn't
accept
fucking keep me up at night. I'm not tossing and turning, like, you know.
well, the first few weeks, but
No, but that's what I'm saying. Anymore, it's like I've moved on
I have a few tossing and turning nights where I'm like,
with certain people, or just in
shit,
general.
was that? Well, yeah, I mean with people, like you know,
No, I do at first, but what I'm saying is once it's been long enough that you're kind of like, you know what, it's
Well,
happened. Like
I
we've
feel
moved
like
on.
I feel like you know, it's either me being like very insecure and my anxiety being too, you know, extreme, or either I just cared too much. Do you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
or
yeah.
like, or am I?
I think it's a mix of both.
Is it normal to be constantly asking yourself about like relationships that you have at the moment or have in the past that have gone shit? You know, was I a good person? Like, did I do this right? Did I fuck this up? You know what I mean?
I think so.
Is that a normal thing to be constantly asking yourself?
I think
Like,
it is, as long as you're asking it in the context of like, have I improved, rather than dwelling on the past. It's more like if you're looking at it in terms of like, did I do horribly, and is that still a problem, or am I still doing that today? Like if you're just looking at it and you're just being like, oh, the past, then I think that can be a problem. But I would say that you're probably worried about it because you're worried about whether or not it's still an issue.
well, I think when you're like you said last week, you know, being single, like you kind of have to have this kind of like persona in a way, and this kind of like diligence about you. That's you're in the game, you're gonna do it. You have to be the man, otherwise you're gonna lose that girl that you're so keen on. You know.
Yeah.
And I think in that process this year, I just feel like, especially with a lot of women, I've kind of like pissed off because, you know, I always say this and it's true and it fucking hurts, but like, you know, how am I supposed to know if I like someone unless I spend time with them or talk to them or go on a date with them? And then like, you know, if it goes south, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But then like, you know, in the past when I piss people off because, you know, it hasn't gone well, or I don't necessarily want to continue on with them.
Yeah.
I do question if that is shitty of me, or if it's just literally the game of love and like, oh, it's fair and love and war. That's what my mum always told me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, to be perfectly honest, once most people find a serious relationship, and once they find that person that they're probably going to marry or that they're going to have a long-term relationship with or whatever, most of the time, like 99% of the time, once you get in a relationship like that, unless something horrible happened to you, like, you know, God forbid you were raped or whatever, unless something that terrible and traumatic happened, most of the time, once you find that person that you're committed with and that you love, you kind of just forget about the exes and you forget about the heartbreak and you forget about all the past stuff because, you know, you're too focused on what's ahead of you, you know?
Well, I'll tell you what, that is like literally, I have quite a few stories to tell when I eventually do find someone. It's been a mad journey.
Well, it's funny,
so
like,
far.
I know that for both my girlfriend and I, Kath, when we started dating, both had these kind of like, you know, I think hers were probably worse than mine, but we both had, relative to how we thought about it, like horror stories of our exes that we were like, oh, you know, we've had such bad experiences and all that. But I think if you asked either of us now about those stories, we'd be like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, who cares? You know, it would be like, yeah, that sucked, but it doesn't really affect me because of the sheer fact that we've spent so much time with each other now that we don't really, you know, it doesn't take up much of our headspace anymore.
No. Yeah, it's like it's an insane, like,
so
journey.
if it makes you feel better, all these women you've hurt, as long as they get married, they'll forget about it.
Yeah, well, look.
Otherwise, they'll just be lonely and sad for the rest of their lives, and it was all your fault.
I mean, what's the point of trying to make it work with someone who, like, you know, it's not going to work with, and then like eventually just having to like break up with them?
Well, you know,
Which has happened to me before.
Yeah, you don't want to lead someone on or keep them in something that is not going to be worth it.
But I don't think there's anything that sucks more than like being told no. Like, I've asked out quite a few people and then they've just said no, and like it hurts like an absolute bitch, and that's happened to me quite a few times. So like it gets to that point where it's like, should I even like try anymore, or should I just wait? And it's like, fuck, because, you know, sometimes nice opportunities arise and it's like, should I once again open my heart and try and reach out and like open up again? And then like,
Yeah.
It's like, you know how like roulette's like a 50-50, not 50-50 necessarily, like a 48 kind of chance.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
love isn't like that. It's not
No,
a 50-50 chance
no.
that someone's gonna like you. A lot of the time, it's no.
Yeah.
And like to go into it and think, you know, there's a chance you either say yes or no. Really, there's a big chance that, you know, the chances that you have an amazing connection with someone that you actually can settle down with and enjoy a good life with is rare. And that's why those moments are so beautiful when you find that right person, you know. Unfortunately, I just don't think I've ever really, well, there's one person I've met who on holiday who I thought I could easily have a relationship with, but obviously doesn't live here. So like, you know, apart from that, I just don't think I've actually met anyone here. The old holiday romance.
Yeah,
That's a story in itself. But actually, that's the one time I generally just feel like I was with someone, with a woman, and didn't have the Chronicles of Conor making an ass himself in front of women.
Yeah. Do you think though that I'm not trying to be a therapist here, but
That's okay.
do you think that being away, like both of you knowing that you weren't going to have to see each other ever again, do you think that kind of took away a bit of the
it's so funny you
pressure,
say that.
or
It's so funny you say that.
You know, made it easier to kind of have that romantic holiday?
I don't think, you know, that's in many ways true, but I don't think it was like, you know.
I don't think it was. I'm not saying it was just that, but
No, I think, but what it was personally, like, it's so weird, like little things I noticed about myself on holiday. Like I could go down the street, listen to music, and I noticed myself kind of like singing along to music quite a few times and not giving a fuck who stared at me.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that here necessarily.
No.
You know, and it's like little stuff like that. So when I actually went out to go and see women and go clubbing and stuff,
you were more confident.
Exactly. You can literally be whoever you want to be and like, you know, not feel the pressures and stuff. So when I did have a woman, there was that kind of nice bit of like there was like no pressure to be like, you know, if I do this, will this person find out about this, and I'll bump into her at a club just down the road, and then this will happen, and then, but yeah, you know, I think as well what made it special as well and probably helped me have that kind of feeling was that time was so precious and against me.
Yeah.
Like when I really started to feel like, shit, this girl could be so good for me, we had literally like less than 24 hours left together. So every minute I try to make count when I knew that the chances of me seeing her again is like,
well, yeah, exactly.
very rare. Let's just say though, if I ever need to go to Canada, I have a place to stay. Actually, I think she's dating someone now. Good on her. But let's just say if that goes south,
she'll be like, you can stay at my boyfriend's house.
Yeah, she'll be like, you can stay in the spare bed.
Yeah. You're at night, you're like hearing them next door. You're like, no.
That's what I mean. Like, could you imagine like walking in and you'd be like, so who's this guy? I'm like, oh, you know, we met on holiday.
That would, yeah.
Things happened.
That's great. That would ruin the holiday romance for sure.
Oh God. Yeah, I just haven't found that here yet. But I'm a very complex person. I'm not just saying that to be like woke and different and be like, well, look at me. Like, I'm a very complex and quite difficult person, and I think as my friend,
well, it's good that you can acknowledge that. I agree. You're incredibly difficult. No, I'm just kidding. You're not
running
that
this podcast is just so difficult. No, like, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
off camera, he is abusive.
It's like Offset. It's like, you know, he really rubbed me up the wrong way, Offset. Well, what I mean,
we
is
were
like,
in a shouting match before we started recording, and then it was just like happy face.
Tears until we press record. But no, I think out of everybody, I feel like, you know, you and me are very similar in the fact with our like mental health. Although it is different in places, like I feel like we have very similar mental health, and we are very like
a similar understanding as well.
We've always been different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like it takes.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna find someone, they need to understand that like it ain't gonna be the easiest ride ever because I'm who I am. Like, you know, I have like some mental health issues going on, and like to ignore that and just act like that's not gonna be an issue is a completely wrong way to take it. You have to be like, you know, this is going to be a bit of an issue sometimes. It's not going to be the end of the world, but, you know, if this is going to work, then you need to know that this is going to happen, you know.
Yeah, I think you can't give it too much, like, power and be like, I'm sorry, I have to save you from dating me. I'm a mess. Like, you know, you don't want to sort of go overboard, but at the same time, at the same time, you don't want to come off like you're this completely put together person, and then you're on a date and then the chick's like, why is this guy, you know, does this guy hate me? And you're like, no, I'm just sad. Like, I'm not having a bad time necessarily, but I'm just, you know, maybe I'm just not in the mood today. Like, and it's tough. I think, it's hard for people to understand that. I don't think it should be hard to talk about, but unfortunately it is. But I think that, yeah, as long as you're open and as long as you're honest with yourself, and then honest, if you're honest with yourself, that's kind of, where it starts. And then I feel like you can be honest with everyone else around you. But as long as you do stay honest and, you try to explain yourself when you screw up, whilst, without trying to like excuse it, like not be like, oh, it's, it's not my fault. Like it's my mental health. I swear, but yeah, I think that it's good to know who you are and what your flaws are. And I think that honestly, that in itself kind of gives you the leg up on anyone else who, the jock who's like, yeah, I'm this cool guy and
with
drives
no
this
feelings
big car.
and shit.
Yeah, it's like, because that person is
that stereotype.
Yeah, that person does have a low self-esteem, and that person does have problems that they can't even admit to themselves.
They can't admit to.
So, yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, generally, I just think the worst part of all of this, I think, just trying to find someone is when you're not even given a chance.
Yeah.
Like,
that happen a lot, or?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, what, like the Tinder, like, you send a message and then shut down?
Sometimes you're just like, if this was going to, like, work, want to try this, want to go here, and it's like, nah. And you're like, well, it would have been nice if just at least been given a chance, but that's cool. Shit happens.
Yeah, it's tough. I think that, yeah, dating is one thing that, to be honest, I don't even know much about it because I've never dated outside of
that's the thing. None of my friends do. So it's
high school. So I don't know, but like through you, my understanding of dating is that, and through obviously television and everything else, my understanding of dating is that it's like, when you're dating outside of a setting that's like school or university or an office romance, like when you don't have those sort of situations where you're naturally around other women and other guys, and when there's like not naturally a community that you're in of people, it's very hard to just meet random people, and then even harder for those random people to give you a chance. You're right. And because most people don't care for people they don't know, you know what I mean? They're not going to be like, yeah, I'll just see how it goes with this random guy. They're more likely going to try it with someone who they work with or someone who they go to university with. Like they're going to do that before they just,
that's very true.
So dating's hard as far as I can tell. That's why I don't do it.
Yeah. Folks. Well, that's the thing. No, you're right. Because literally all my friends do have girlfriends. I don't really have many friends who are dating. So
that's the thing. Like I was lucky enough.
Kind of unrelatable sometimes,
All the women that I've met, as much as I've sort of talked to them when I didn't need to, like I definitely will say that it took confidence in each of my position, in each of the times that I met the girls I've dated, for me to go and talk to them. Like I'm not trying to say that, I'm just
you did one really terribly. Lucky. Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
The first star in text.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So how you going? But you put the
I actually wrote so and then ... Yeah.
Yeah, literally. I was like, because you were planning on doing it for like 2 weeks, and then you did it, and I was like,
I'll admit, like,
sake.
Most of the times I've met women, it has been in scenarios where like I was paired with someone, not paired with them, but like I was in a situation where there were going to have to be women around me. You know what I mean? It's like I was already going to be with women, and it's like I was already going to be talking to them, so flirting with them was only a pretty easy step further, Whereas I feel like in your position, the first step of even just talking to them is like a bigger step to take. So wow, look at that.
Shit, that's like half an hour of relationship.
Is that the hour? How much do you owe me for this therapy session? Like,
mate,
my goodness,
I've got 10 episodes of therapy.
Did you use BetterHelp?
I heard about this crap. To be fair, I'd never used that shit.
It's pretty tough.
Why would you sit down with
you know what, folks?
Go on FaceTime and I'm just gonna go FaceTime a psychiatrist right now.
They're gonna find out why, huh? After the break.
What, BetterHelp? I'm excited. Let's do it.
Are we gonna have a sponsor in this break? No. We're not.
It's like before we shit on BetterHelp. Today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. No, all
right, folks. We'll see you in a second.
All right. Cheers.
Thanks. Bye. Hello,
everybody.
We're back.
Dan,
do we still have funding? Did BetterHelp?
Yeah, tell me about BetterHelp, because I've been hearing some
We
Some
don't
bloody
have to
shade.
talk about it for too long, but just to give you the sort of long
Yeah,
story
give me the
short
gist.
version. No, the service is like you text a psychiatrist, I think, and you FaceTime
And
them,
you
and
call
it's
them, yeah.
basically like being able to see a psychiatrist without actually taking time out of your whatever.
Your busy lives.
Yeah, you can just sort of text them, so you can whatever. Not when you're not working, like just shoot them a text, and when you're going to take a shit during the work day, you know. So it's supposed to be like a convenient way of seeing therapy, and I think it's a good goal. It's a good
It's a good idea.
they're trying to do a good exactly. They're trying to do a good thing, but I think to be honest, I don't fully know what the issue ended up being, but basically their terms of service was a little bit shady.
They weren't real psychiatrists, were they? A few of them.
No,
weren't.
some of them were.
But so, it's like if they aren't, then
And
fuck
look,
you.
you had a complete right to ask them if they were, and then if they said no, you had a complete right to
show me your PhDs.
Yeah, but yeah, some of them I think had questionable
Right.
qualifications, and what was the other thing? Something else in their terms of service was a little bit sort of shady. So it's not necessarily. I actually watched sort of a deep dive. They actually weren't doing anything particularly that bad. It's just they weren't being as open as they could have been. So
Before we move on, though, can I just say I do see a psychiatrist in real life, not on BetterHelp. I see one face to face. I understand. If you want to go, my personal opinion is actually just to go and see one. I actually see one for free because of my Medicare card.
government benefits.
Just like, if you want to see someone, probably the best idea would be to see someone in person and
Yeah.
someone who actually has a PhD.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a funny concept. I think it's good to talk to someone, but texting them, I feel like, is a little bit impersonal. Like,
Especially if they're not really fully qualified.
Yeah, and it's like, how do they get an idea of exactly what you mean? Like, if you send a full paragraph, they don't know how you're saying it. Like, they don't know if
Open up to
you're...
a stranger on
Well, they don't know
my
if
phone
you're
about my
like typing
personal
it
problems.
super emotional. They don't know if you're crying while you're typing that message, or if you're just sending it like just to tell them. Like, whereas when you see a therapist in real life, they can tell how you actually feel when you say something.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of your mental health is like when therapists read it, it's like body language. How the fuck can you tell that
exactly.
if it's like your phone buffered a bit and you're like pixelated as shit?
Yeah, it's like you make a typo. They're like, I think you have a trauma.
I noticed you spell a lot of words wrong.
Yeah.
How's your education?
Yeah.
Did you have family issues?
No, I tell you, we should. What's the next topic?
This is your one.
Sorry to make a hard turn, but let's move on
Scat!
to Elon Musk.
Who?
Well,
I'm kidding. Go.
now I have been lucky enough
To me.
in my short lifetime to have encountered 3, count them, 1, 2, 3
Tree.
Teslas in my life. I have selfies of all 3
I only seen one.
to prove it. Yeah, I saw one with you.
Yep.
That was when we saw one.
Mm-hmm.
I saw one when I was going to perform a comedy gig, it was my first ever comedy gig, and on the way I saw a Tesla. So that was, I feel like, good luck. That was like, you know what? You're going to be the next...
One day, son.
You're going to be Elon Musk of comedy. And then
Take me to mine.
I saw another one that was just at the shopping center. The local, just...
Was it the same
down
one
the road.
from...
No. It was a completely different one.
Okay.
It was like... And I was like, wow, look at that.
Damn.
We got some rich folks in our neighborhood. Uh,
We'll be the next.
Anyway,
The
Elon
next,
Musk.
next Tesla you see will be in your garage.
Yeah, that's right. That better be... Yeah, the next Tesla I see better be rolling off the delivery truck into my garage, okay? So Elon Musk is what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to ask you or tell you a few things about him, because I think he's a cool guy. I think he definitely has flaws, as everyone does. But I think generally he's quite an insane person.
He's a smart cookie, man.
So I want to ask you, what do you think about him? What is your
How did I... Elon Musk, I think...
like
that,
what do you know about him is more what I mean. Like, how do you think he made it, all that stuff?
Well, like, I know, obviously, the first time I found him out was through, like, Tesla and stuff. I'd heard about Tesla only this year. I know it's
Yeah.
been out for a while. And it was in Pochak Series 3, he had a Tesla, and, like,
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was, like, Elon Musk or anything, or a Tesla until I rewatched it. Like, yeah, I think I found him through someone ever, like, I think I saw on, like, Marquez on Twitter. Cause he loves Tesla.
Yeah.
I think like I kept seeing him talk about it, and then Casey was getting one, And then I generally don't know. Oh, that was it. Yeah, yeah. The first time I generally saw like a full-on interview of Elon Musk was the whole Joe Rogan we thing, and ever since then I just followed him on Twitter. And that I wasn't put off by that at all. I thought, you know what,
Yeah.
fucking hell, if he wants to smoke weed legally, who gives a fuck? Like honestly, like who generally gives a fuck? Like no, but he's a cool bloke. I really do. I really think he's a cool bloke.
So I want to give you a little bit of backstory on Elon. So I don't know if
I know
you
he's
know.
got a good wife. Well, girlfriend, should I say?
Well, I want to show you a photo of him in the 90s. I know this is audio. I'll try to put the photo up in the video, but
Back in the 90s.
this is literally how he looked like in the 90s. He's got the thinning hairline.
Oh, he looks like one of my teachers. From
He
school.
literally looks like a 40-year-old
day.
dad. He looks like he's gotten younger over
That's so
time.
true.
You know what I mean? He used to have like a bald spot on his head. So he's a complete nerd. He was a massive nerd. And if you see, he is one of the founders of PayPal.
Wow.
You know PayPal.
Shit.
So that's actually how he got started. So Elon has a pretty long history of
He's done a Simon Pegg. He looks better now. Like
yeah, literally. It's over time.
ages like a fine wine.
Yeah, he's aged very well compared to how he
that?
was. Yeah, so
PayPal.
so he
That
used to be
the shit.
That's right. I've used PayPal. I don't still use it.
I've never
so.
used it, but I tried once.
So he
Too complicated.
No, but
Stick to Teslas.
he in the 90s was a massive nerd. He had like a degree. He like all this stuff. He started a couple companies, obviously PayPal being one of them. And he looked like a complete, divorced dad. Like he just,
Isn't that what it is?
had the thinning hair. Well, he is now, but he wasn't back then.
Okay.
Back then he was like a young
He
chap.
was rocking the
And
divorced dad.
he had,
look before.
yeah, exactly. He
was
had
the
like,
divorced dad.
he was like balding on the top of his head. It's he looked like a sad twat. I guess it's all the money. You know what I mean? When you make that much money,
Yeah,
you
he's
can
probably
afford
got
to look
hair,
better.
implants and shit.
But anyway, yeah.
Bless him.
So he did that, and then he didn't he wasn't the founder of Tesla, but he found out about Tesla early on, and he was like one of the first people to invest, and then he became
Definitely made it big.
the CEO. Yeah, exactly. He propelled it because I think his and this is sort of what I want to get into is like his whole philosophy and his whole life goals and all this stuff has basically been like just aim to do everything you can possibly do at all the time. You know what I mean? And like throw everything. Have you heard the saying where it's like throw it at the wall and see what sticks?
Right, yeah.
Basically just try every single
Everything
idea
and see what goes
and
off,
whatever manages to work, you
Yeah.
know, you've made a step forward and then do it again. You know, like he is literally, especially with Tesla, but also he has that rocket company. Do you know he has SpaceX?
Yes, yeah.
Rocket company. And then what's the third? Oh, he has a company that's making tunnels to like change transport and stuff, but which sold the flamethrower, which you might have seen.
Yeah, iconic flamethrower.
Yeah. No, he's just a madman. But I think that, look, he does say some crazy stuff and he does do some wacky things, but that's what you get with being a rich California CEO, you know?
Pretty much.
You know, you get cocky. That's just a fact. He's a billionaire. You know, I'm not saying he's the best guy, but he definitely has.
Well, he clearly cares because he could literally just retire, but he doesn't. He keeps
Yeah, he's
doing some
obviously a
shit,
hard
you know?
worker. Yeah, I don't think he does it all for his ego. Like, I do think he genuinely wants to do things and make a difference, but I think he absolutely has some personality traits that are admirable. I think that trying to, just do everything and make it work, I think that's definitely something to look up to.
Oh, I agree. It's literally like, that shit is so like, it really hits home when I see stuff like that, It fucking makes me feel like, there actually is hope.
Yeah.
There's actually like a reason why, especially what we do, it's a very like, it can be sometimes scary because what we do is like risky as.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
if you literally
definitely
believe in yourself and like you
Well-
said, kind of throw it all to the wall, it's like,
it's funny.
Go for
Like
it, son.
it is risky what we're doing, but at the same time, I guess you could say what Elon did was like a numbers game, but he started a business that was like transferring money over the internet. At the time, that would have been the riskiest. You know what I mean? I doubt people even understood that when they started PayPal.
I am not sending my
Yeah.
money.
Into the internet, like that. I think he has tried
That's
things.
where hackers are at.
Yeah, I
Let's
think
get him.
he has done things that are by definition risky, and by definition people don't understand it and they don't want to know about it. But it's the same as what you said about what we're doing. Like, I think you just have to do it enough where you prove to people that, you know what, this is cool and we can do this, and it is
yeah, like, honestly, I think, like, the thing is, the way I look at it, honestly, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I literally was thinking about this today, but, like,
Tell me.
I feel like with what we're doing, our channels are, like, slowly growing, and, like, this series is slowly growing, all the stuff we do is slowly growing.
Yeah.
Like, surely, like, mathematically,
Yeah.
if you keep
Well,
doing it, surely
I totally
you can't not get people to watch.
I totally agree. One
Like,
thing that
mathematically, that makes sense.
I completely agree. I mean,
it snowballs.
I was saying to you off camera before we started, like, I've been so busy this last week, and I really, like, I just want to make YouTube videos. Like, I literally just want to make stuff. Look, what's actually really nice is in the last, like, month, I think I've gained, like, 5 subscribers or something crazy, and I haven't even uploaded, which is very nice. But at the same time, it makes me feel bad because it's like, I want to be putting out videos each week. I want to be putting out 2 videos each week. I want to be doing that stuff. But then at the same time, the reason that I'm not uploading is because I'm doing a lot more freelance work. I'm doing, I've got a wedding coming up. I'm doing fashion. I'm doing, like, not tutorials, but I'm doing explainer videos for companies, like, what do you call it? Like safety videos,
safety videos
for different companies. So it's like, stuff like that is great. And it obviously pays the bills. So that, in a way, I think anyone can understand why that's a bit more, tempting than YouTube, because then I can afford a better camera, or I can afford a better computer. That means I can edit faster. So, it all does add up, but it's one of those things where it's like, God.
Yeah, YouTube is a slow burner in many ways, and it is a second job.
It's like, I know it's a slow burner. I know that,
honest.
And I know, but it obviously goes faster. It obviously gets bigger faster the more you put into it. So if you're uploading every week, you're obviously going to grow.
Yeah, who the fuck knew the way to get followers was be uploading?
Yeah, exactly. What? Really?
Who'd have thought, hey?
But that's the thing. It's like, I want to do that, and I feel like I have the dedication to do that, but it's like, I do need to divide that dedication into different things, because I can't, like, I don't want to just be doing YouTube. Like, I really want to do it, and I really want to be putting videos out there, but I do also want to be doing stand-up. I've got a stand-up comedy gig tomorrow night. Like, I also want to be doing freelance work that gets me paid. I'm having a meeting about that tomorrow. I'm doing some stuff the next few weeks. Like, I do want to be doing multiple things, just like Elon. But it is hard to juggle, but I guess that's the difference between people who aren't successful and people who are. People who have just as much shit to do, but they just say, you know what, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it well.
Would you say that, like, YouTube's your priority?
No.
Yeah.
I don't say that in a mean way. I would like it to be my priority. But I can't necessarily...
No, I mean, like, sorry. I mean, I guess, like, I don't mean necessarily, like, at the moment, but, like, it's like a broader goal. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, YouTube's my biggest ambition. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like, YouTube's the one that I want to succeed the most. Like, I would like to eventually have that as my main priority and the one that I focus on the most. But I'm just saying that right now, unfortunately, I can't put in enough time, I feel like, for it to become that. Like, right now, I think I really want 2019 to be a year where I focus a lot more on the channel and building it. Like, now that I've moved out, now that I've got this studio, and I would really like to do some more stuff before the end of the year, but truthfully, I've got a lot of projects to do in November. For, like, the first 2 weeks of November, I'm shooting 2 fashion shows. I have to make videos for all the designers. I'm also shooting a wedding. So it's like, I've got a ton of stuff in November. December, I'm going to be away for a month because I'm going to be in Africa. And obviously, I will be filming there. Yeah. And I'm actually really excited for that, but it obviously means I can't upload during December. It's like, I can only upload that when I get back, So, like, November and December is going to be really hard for me to get out videos. And October has only got, like, 3 weeks left. So it's like, it's that's what I mean. I really want to focus on it, and I really do enjoy it, but it is hard when I'm just a busy guy.
So this was going to be our year. Really, next year is going to be our year.
It's going to be our year.
But, I feel like that is literally how I feel. But, I tell you what.
Every year you feel like that.
Well, no, like, now I actually feel like for a long time, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my channel. And now I feel like actually that I now know what I actually do want to do with it. Yeah. It's a lot easier
You're a podcaster.
Take down... Hey, is that the guy from the podcast? Fuck
Is that the
you.
guy who does podcasts?
I have you know, I vlogged today and yesterday, and I also filmed a
No,
podcast
that's great,
yesterday.
man.
Filming a podcast today.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It keeps me on the feet. I'm trying to be busy, and whilst managing a full-time job and
Well,
trying to be
and that's the
mentally
thing is
sane.
that look, it's tough. Like I really do want to do more videos, and I really think I will do more, and I have more planned, and the whole gambit. But
Gambit.
what was the guy who was gonna do gambit?
Chantain.
Yeah, that's it.
One day, son.
I really was gonna do the full 9 yards, but like, you're right. I have a full-time. Well, I have a
Not till you're ready,
part-time
son.
job. I do a lot of stuff, and I'm a very busy guy. But I do think that that's just the challenge. I think that is like what you sign up for.
Yeah.
When you want to be a creative, successful person, you have to say, you know what? I do have a lot of shit on. I do have a job.
Yeah.
Most people do. I just have to be better than that, and I have to say I'm gonna get this shit done, even when it feels like I wish I'd rather just have a relax and have a chill out. You know what? I'm going to push through it, and I'm going to be a successful person. So,
challenge as well for me is the fact that, like, if anything, it kind of excites me at this career which I want to get into is pretty fucking hard to get into. It doesn't necessarily scare me. It's more of a motivator.
Exactly. It's a challenge. It's like, you know what? People who are successful, it's not easy to be successful. So it's like,
well, if it was easy, everyone would do it.
And that's what I mean. Is that like me? It's very easy for me to be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to put off YouTube until next year. But it's like, I'm going to try get back into it, because most people would not take on as much stuff as I'm taking on, and do as much stuff as both of us are doing. But it's like, that's exactly why not everyone's successful, because not everyone has the brain to be like, you know what? I am going to be doing fucking comedy. I am going to be doing YouTube videos. I'm going to be doing freelance stuff. I am going to have work 20 to 25 hours a week. It's like, that's just what you've got to take on if you want to be successful.
Yeah, if you're not convinced so far that we are hard-working, dedicated people who do a podcast every week whilst juggling all our other YouTube videos with a job, family, friends, relationships, then you know what?
That's the message.
I don't know what else
We're
to say.
great.
Yeah.
That's what you should take away from this
Yeah.
podcast.
Just take it on the fucking chin. All right.
Okay, everybody, thanks for watching.
I want to say quickly, though, we are on Spotify. Because
Yes.
I keep forgetting to say.
Yeah, we're on Spotify now, which is awesome.
Yeah, if you want to listen to us
Spotify
instead of
provided
looking at our
by
bloody mugs.
Anchor. Anchor is not a sponsor, but they are a wonderful service.
They will be one day.
They were super, super easy to use. In all honesty, I know this is going to sound like a sponsored paid bit, but
they were pretty easy.
They were super easy to use. They made everything just such an easy process. It was completely free, which surprised me.
Shit, it was free.
I didn't pay a dime, and I just signed up, did it. It was just the easiest process in the world in my.
Well, yeah, we are on Anchor as well. If you want to listen to us on that.
So yeah,
that's
Anchor,
free to download
Spotify,
as well.
YouTube.
So if you don't have Spotify, you can download Anchor and listen to us on that.
The whole
shebang.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Okay.
And you know what?
Yee.
We couldn't do it without you folks at home.
Thanks,
listening.
Yao.
Thank
Cheers
you
for
guys.
tuning in.
I'm Daniel Aid. You can check me out on youtube.com/DanielIsWeird.
Your bubble's here. Conor Hannum, you're on the right place. You're in the right
Thank
place,
you
boy.
very much.
Cheers, everybody.
Goodbye, y'all.
Catch you later.
See you next time.
Bye.